What do an ancient Roman watermill and a modern attack helicopter have in common? Both face the same core engineering challenge: how to turn power 90 degrees. The water wheel spins horizontally, but the millstones need to spin vertically. Fast forward to helicopters. Jet engines generate power along the aircraft, but the main rotor spins vertically to lift the craft. This right-angle power transfer is everywhere, in cars, elevators, even hand drills. Without a way to transmit power around a corner, our world would look very different. The story of solving this problem isn't about a single invention, but centuries of trial, error, and improvement. From wood to steel, each solution built on the last. Let's dive into the journey of how we mastered the 90-degree turn. We'll see how new materials and designs unlock new possibilities. This isn't just about gears, it's about human ingenuity. It's about facing a problem, building a solution, and coming back to make it better. This is the heart of engineering. The Romans needed to grind grain for their cities, so they built watermills powered by river currents. The challenge: the water wheel spun horizontally, but the millstones needed to spin vertically. Their answer was the pin and face drive, two wooden discs with pegs that meshed at a right angle. It worked, using simple materials and local craftsmanship. But the wooden pegs wore down quickly, cracked, and broke under stress. The system was noisy, inefficient, and limited in power. All the force was concentrated on tiny points, so the pegs snapped if pushed too hard. This design set a speed and power ceiling for centuries. It was good enough for watermills and windmills, but couldn't handle more demanding tasks. The world needed a stronger, more durable solution. For centuries, this was as good as it got. But the next leap would require new materials. The stage was set for revolution. For 1,000 years, wooden gears ruled, until the Industrial Revolution. Steam engines brought more power than wood could handle. Wooden gears shattered under the strain. The first fix was iron gears, cast in sand molds. Iron gears were stronger, but noisy, and wore down quickly due to rough, imprecise teeth. Engineers created hybrids, one iron gear, one with wooden cogs. The wood cushioned impacts and was easy to replace, saving the iron gear from damage. This compromise was quieter and safer, but still a brute force approach. The real problem was geometry, how to mesh teeth smoothly at a right angle. The 90-degree challenge demanded a new kind of gear. The next breakthrough would come from rethinking the shape of the gears themselves. Material alone wasn't enough. Precision and design were the next frontiers. The age of iron set the stage for a leap in gear geometry. The bevel gear was about to change everything. The old pin and face and straight peg gears were noisy and inefficient. The breakthrough came with the bevel gear. Gears shaped like cones, not flat discs. Bevel gear teeth are tapered, wide at the edge and narrow at the center. When they mesh, the teeth roll smoothly into contact, distributing the load and reducing noise. This design allowed for much more power and efficiency. Factories, machine tools, and early cars all adopted bevel gears for right-angle drives. The grinding and shrieking of old gears was replaced by a smooth whir. Bevel gears solved the geometry problem, but manufacturing them accurately was still a challenge. The next leap would require precision engineering. The age of mass production and high-speed machines demanded gears cut to exact specifications. The bevel gear was a game-changer, but only if it could be made perfectly. The quest for precision was about to begin. Enter the era of the gear-cutting machine. Designing a perfect bevel gear was one thing. Making one was another. Early gears were cast and filed by hand, full of inaccuracies that caused vibration and rapid wear. Enter William Gleason, who in 1874 invented a machine to cut bevel gears with mathematical precision. Gleason's machine could shape each tooth exactly, producing gears that were nearly identical every time. This revolutionized gear manufacturing, enabling strong, reliable, high-speed gear systems. The Gleason works became the world leader in gear cutting technology. Precision gears unlocked the next wave of innovation, the automobile. Without accurate gears, modern cars wouldn't exist. Gleason's work turned gear making from an art into a science. Precision, down to 1/1000th of an inch, became the new standard. This obsession with accuracy is the foundation of all modern machinery. The bevel gear's potential was finally realized. Manufacturing genius had caught up with design. The world was ready for quieter, stronger, and more compact gears. The next challenge, making them even better for everyday use. Automobiles needed right-angle power transfer for their differentials. Early cars used straight-cut bevel gears, strong but noisy. The whine of these gears was a problem as cars became mainstream. The solution, spiral bevel gears, patented by Gleason Works in 1913. Spiral teeth engaged gradually, making operation smoother and quieter. Multiple teeth shared the load, increasing strength and reducing noise. The next leap was the hypoid gear, with the pinion offset from the center. Hypoid gears allowed for lower drive shafts and more spacious car interiors. They were even quieter and stronger, but needed special lubricants to handle the extra friction. Each advance was a balance of design, materials, and chemistry. The result: cars that were quieter, more comfortable, and more efficient. The evolution of gears kept pace with the demands of modern life. The 90-degree problem was now solved for millions of vehicles. But in some cases, engineers found value in inefficiency. While bevel gears ruled cars, another solution thrived elsewhere: the worm drive. A worm drive uses a screw-like worm and a gear to turn motion 90 degrees. Its big advantage: huge speed reductions in a compact space. Perfect for machine tools, conveyor belts, and guitar tuners. Worm drives are inefficient, lots of friction and heat. But that friction creates a unique benefit: self-locking. Most worm drives can't be driven backward, making them ideal for elevators and hoists. If power fails, the worm drive locks, holding heavy loads safely in place. Sometimes inefficiency is a feature, not a bug. Engineers turned a disadvantage into a critical safety mechanism. The worm drive is a brilliant example of creative problem solving. It's a reminder that the best solution isn't always the most efficient. Sometimes it's the safest. Nowhere is the 90-degree problem tougher than in helicopters. Helicopter transmissions must take immense engine power, reduce speed, and turn it 90 degrees to spin the main rotor. Early designs used massive spiral bevel gears, strong but heavy. Bigger gears meant more weight, limiting payload and range. The breakthrough split-torque face gear systems. Power from the engine is divided between two face gears, then recombined to drive the rotor. This splits the load, allowing for smaller, lighter gears. The result: transmissions that handle huge power with less weight. These systems require advanced computer-aided design and exotic materials. Manufacturing tolerances are measured in microns. Every gear is tested for flaws. Lubrication is critical, with oil jets cooling the gears. Helicopter transmissions are the pinnacle of 2,000 years of gear evolution. The 90-degree problem, pushed to its absolute limit, drives the future of aviation. It's a triumph of precision, materials, and design. From Roman watermills to helicopters, the 90-degree problem has shaped our world. Progress came not from a single breakthrough, but from relentless improvement. Each era built on the last: wood, iron, geometry, precision, and new materials. Today, right-angle power transfer is everywhere. Cars, drills, escalators, elevators. These mechanisms are the hidden engines of modern life. The journey from crude wooden pegs to split-torque face gears is a story of curiosity and persistence. Every advance, better steel, smarter lubricants, computer-aided design, unlocked new possibilities. The solutions we rely on are not just inventions, but refinements. They're the product of centuries of stubborn problem-solving. So next time you see a helicopter, remember the journey inside its transmission. The spirit of engineering is not just solving a problem, but making the solution better, again and again. That's how a simple turn of power changed the world, and that's the true heart of engineering.